Hey everyone, welcome. I'm Heather and I am joined by Clark Beckham today. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks. It's nice to meet you, and thanks for having me today.
Yeah, we're so excited to get to chat with you today because you have an upcoming project in the works. You just released some new music, but we want to start because some people might recognize you from American Idol season 14, which was, gosh, probably like 5 years ago now. So
It was, yeah.
talk about the show. What made you audition for the show in the first place?
Well, I've always grown up watching the show with my parents, kind of like everybody did. And it came around when I was 22, so yeah, like 5 years ago. And my mom was like, "Hey, you should do this. You should audition. You should send in a video because there was video submission for the first year." I was like, "Okay, I don't really want to. I'm not into these shows." Because I'd actually just had a bad experience with another singing reality show competition thing. And I was like, no, I don't want to. And I was bitter and dumb. And my mom was like, just send in a video. And if it doesn't go well, it's all the same. And if they say yes, you can still say no then, but just send in a video. So I was like, all right, fine. I'll send in a video. So I sent in a video of me singing Let's Get It On with Marvin Gaye.
Uh-huh.
And got asked to come, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll go. So my mom convinced me to do it, and almost every great decision I've made in my life is stemmed from the same source. So
Now, did you grow up loving music then? And, this is just kind of like a progression is just to audition for these shows, or was this kind of something later in your life?
I definitely grew up loving music. I started singing when I was like 6 or 7 in a gospel trio with my mom and dad. My mom raised me on a lot of 70s oldies music, and then my dad actually was involved in a lot of the music back then. He played with Bill Medley from the Righteous Brothers, and was kind of just in the music scene of the 60s and 70s, and is a very soulful singer himself. So I just was growing up listening to my dad sing, and then hearing Al Green, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, Tom Jones, the Beatles, and just people like that. So I've always loved music.
I love that. But you did go to college and got a history degree. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
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 What were the plans originally with that?
Well, I went to school. I really fell in love with history my senior year, and I love teaching. I'm actually during COVID and stuff. I'm actually teaching music lessons through Zoom.
Yeah.
A lot. It's just like made an email account, beckhamlessons@gmail.com, and then it's just filled up, and I've been doing that for a while. But anyway, I love teaching, and I love history, and I love stories in general. And so I wanted to do that and get prepared to do history as a teacher and coach football as a backup plan, and continue to do music, because I didn't want to get a degree in music, because typically a degree in music is more classically based, and I felt confident I could already do what I needed to do music as a career, but I couldn't if I wanted to be a history teacher and a football coach. So that's kind of the reasoning.
That's so cool. I love that story. Let's talk about your new single called Luckiest Man that was released in September. You wrote it with Cole Allen right before your wedding. And just talk me through this process that you and Cole had, because you guys went into the studio and decided to record it because you were both in love. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, and it's actually right before I proposed.
Oh my
I
gosh.
wrote it. Yeah, and then it came out right before the wedding, and then I actually sang it to her at the wedding.
Oh, so sweet.
It was sweet. Yeah, it was cool. And yeah, but I've been a fan of Cole's for a while. He's part of a band called Opia. I heard their song in a Starbucks, and like stuck my phone to the speaker and Shazammed the song to find out who it was. Became a fan. Asked my manager to track him down. Like, it took like a year or so to finally get a hold of him.
Oh my gosh.
And got a writing session. And I was like, "What's going on in your life, bro?" He's like, "I'm in love."
Oh.
I was like, "Great." I've known him for 5 minutes. He's like, "I'm in love." Like, wonderful. Me too. I'm about to propose. And so the goal of that song was, let's write a love song that could only be written by people who are currently head over heels in love. And so we don't go for the cliche things that you've heard often. We go for like kind of very specific lyrics. Like I know one that I think about is all these traffic lights and city streets and these little things don't bother me. As long as you're in the other seat and look at me with those I love you eyes, I know everything will be fine. And that's really how I feel. I mean, I hate traffic. I hate traffic. Hate traffic. And I get so frustrated when I run into traffic. But I experienced on road trips when Chanley was with me, when she was with me and I'd hit traffic, I didn't care at all because I'm in the best seat in the house. You know, I'm with her. And so if I'm just stuck with her longer, that's great. And so that's kind of how the song was written, is based on real things that we both felt.
What was your fiance's reaction the first time she heard this song?
She loved it. She really enjoyed it. And I've written a handful of songs about her. And she's always really thrilled and excited. And it's cool for me because I don't feel like she gets used to it. You know, I feel like eventually, oh, you wrote another song. It better be about me. It's a love song, you know. But she really loved that song and still gets excited, which is fun for me.
That's so cool. LightYear is your new debut album that's coming out in November. What can we expect from this album?
This album, I really used and worked with a lot of pop producers. Okay. My musical background and expertise, if you will, is really surrounded by soul and R&B and jazz inspired chord progressions and melodies. And I was trying to find a way to make that pop without chasing the typical pop sound of chords and melodies, and to keep part of me, but also find a way to make that pleasant for all ears, because that's my goal. I want to make music for the world, not just for a niche group. So I worked with pop producers who brought the pop sounds and brought the pop production, and then I put in the fancy chords and the melodies and the intricacies of jazz-inspired R&B stuff. So I'm really happy with it. I've worked with some really killer people, great songwriters and producers, and I'm very confident and very proud of the project, and I'm really excited to have it out into the world.
Mm-hmm. And Who Believes in Me is the second single off of that album, correct?
It is the third, actually.
The third. Okay. So flying through them. How many songs total is there?
11.
11. Okay. Awesome. Mm-hmm. And when you went into the studio to record this, did you kind of have an idea of what the flow of it was going to be and what kind of songs you wanted, exactly on it, or did that kind of progress as the album progressed?
It actually happened in the writing session. The album was pretty much done and written. And then I had a writing session with two heroes of mine that I also tracked down, Andrew Tofano and Jordy Searcy. And we wrote this song, and Andrew's so talented instrumentally and in production that he started doing those things while we were writing. And then when I heard the demo when we were done writing, I was like, if we can produce this and get this ready to go, I'm good. Like, I can release this too. I'm so in love. So most of the vibe I would attribute to Andrew, and then the drums and the hit and the drop and stuff is really a friend of mine named Jeremy Claudio, who's a brilliant producer. And so this song, maybe more than any of the others, I was in and on the writing session, and a lot of the production and the general sound of the song, I just put my trust in the friends around me who were really good. And I was like, wow, never would have thought of that. Love it. Let's keep it. And I did that a lot on this album, just to be open to new things without sacrificing any musicality.
Yeah. And you guys probably know each other well enough that they know your style and what you're looking for too at this point as well.
What's funny is I met them the first day. like when we
Really?
wrote, that was the
Wow.
first time I ever met them. We didn't know each other. I love their music, and music is that way where it's kind of the universal language, but they just are so good that they knew what it needed, and I trusted them. And when I heard, I was like,
That's it.
yes, that.
That's cool. Since people have been home, more often now, do you feel that spending time at home, you're more creative, that you kind of get to have that more quality time with your music and actually spend that time on it?
You would think so.
Yeah.
You really would think so. That makes all the sense in the world. And I've had to be pretty intentional actually on making sure it's been good for me because I've been working on videos and extra pieces of content to promote the singles. Like
Okay.
right now I'm working on of a performance video of Who Believes in Me where I'm playing every instrument, and I'll be in like little boxes,
Oh, cool.
drummer Clark, bass player Clark, keys, singer, that kind of a thing, guitar. And that's helped me. But I've actually talked to a lot of writers who are like, well, we can't do writing sessions and stuff. And they've had to be pretty intentional on staying creative.
Yeah.
But I'm loving this music coming out, and all of the creation that was last year and even 2 years ago coming to fruition now. And another thing is I'll never stop playing.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't stop playing music. So that never ceases.
Yeah, and I love that you said that you're teaching the next generation too. Being able to teach them the instruments or teach them how to sing. That's a really cool thing to be able to offer them too. So that's really great that you're doing that.
Yeah, a bunch of generations.
Yeah.
Bunch of them. Young, old, middle, all of them. It's
All
been a
ages.
blast.
That's awesome.
Definitely. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. What else have you been able to do during the stay-at-home time? Anything fun that's not music related?
A couple of things come to mind. One is I have absolutely become wildly obsessed with the show Survivor.
Wow, no way.
Never saw an episode until like a couple months ago. And I've watched like 8 seasons now, and I've never binged anything like that ever, except maybe Breaking Bad. So that's been fun. Also, I've been playing like basketball a lot because I'm home all the time and friends go play because they want to do something. And then honestly, just being home now that I'm married, like married life and home life in that way is awesome. Like it's so much fun. And I guess I'm seeing how grateful I'm so grateful that it sounds so corny, but I'm so grateful that I really did marry a best friend.
Aww.
And it's like sleepovers with your best friend every night. And that sounds so cringy,
so
corny.
Cute.
And I've heard people say that and been like, bleh. But it really is the truth. I mean, it's the best part.
That's so cute. Have you guys made anything like super creative? Like, I don't know, like someone made a unicorn cake at one time or banana bread or anything baked crazy things yet?
We haven't. We're still diving into we make dinner every night for each other.
Wow.
Like, shoot, what are we going to make tonight? Like, do we want to, what we've been doing? Here's something weird. It's not that weird. It's actually good. Everybody should do it. But we get like a frozen pizza, and it's just cheese. And then we make all the toppings, so like chicken and bacon and spinach and extra mozzarella or whatever, and then put it in the oven and cook it. And then it's like this gigantic, like gourmet, amazing pizza that we got for like $5.
That's
plus
amazing.
the topping.
That's so
And
smart.
actually, it's funny you say banana bread. She actually just made banana bread last night, and it is the best banana bread I've ever had. I ate like almost the entire loaf today.
Yeah, I mean, you can't just stop at one piece. It's like, you can't.
Not when it's this good. No, I cannot. I cannot.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for chatting with me today, Clark. I really appreciate you taking it. Tell everybody where they can find you on social media.
Sure. Everything for me is just Clark Beckham on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and my website is clarkbeckham.com. And that's where you can find everything. I'm being very, very loud and vocal about the releases. So if you follow me, you won't miss them.
Yes, and the new album comes out in November. Do we have an exact date in November just yet?
Gosh, it's I think November 6th, but don't quote me.
Just
But
check your social media.
it's in the single digits
Okay.
of November.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you again, and we hope to chat with you again soon.
My pleasure. Thanks for
Thank you.
talking.
Bye.